What is going on, guys? Joey Franzel here at Flex Training Systems. Today we're gonna be getting technical, right? We're gonna be getting technical. We're gonna be talking about the bench press. But before we do that, I just want to give you guys a quick workshop update. There's a lot of people that I responded to. If you were someone that inquired on the first workshop we did back in August, I just started going through those. There's about maybe 60 of you still that are waiting to hear back from me. I sent out about 30 invites, and we have like half of the class. If I'm going to take about 30, it's already full. So if you haven't checked your email and you inquired in the first one and you want to get in, check. If you sent in an inquiry for the workshop and you didn't get in, no worries. I'm going to keep doing them. So I'm just going to keep going down the list. And, you know, if I'm booked up for about 2-ish months, that's good. We're just going to keep going down the list. I want to have, you know, a pool of people that I could just hit up whenever I have time to do them. But yeah, so we're moving forward on that. And then if I responded to you and you guys already paid, then there's, you know, just stay tuned for more info. Okay, bench press, feet placement on the bench press. I was actually talking to my boy Wheeze the other day. I saw, you know, he's experimenting with different foot placements, and this interaction is basically how I come up with all my videos. I'll be actually working with a lifter, and we'll run into a situation, and then I will help that lifter or give them a lesson on it, and then I'll think to myself, hey, this is a really good video, so let me go ahead and do a video on it. And basically, he was just experimenting with foot placement, which inspired me to kind of put this video together. And I wanted to talk about the differences between having your feet narrow out in front of you versus your feet out wide. Kind of cranking your arch and putting your feet back behind you. I think for, you know, different body types, one is going to be more advantageous to the other. But there's one main reason why I prefer and try to get people to bench with their legs out wide and back behind them, as opposed to in front. Now that's not to say that I don't. I have some lifters that put their feet in front of them and they do well with it. But everybody's different, and you know, I think it would be foolish in general and in life to completely write off. You know, if somebody has success doing something one way, then you want to understand why they have success doing it that way, and then take that information and see if it applies to your current situation. This train of thought can work with everything. It doesn't even have to relate to powerlifting. If you know, have an opinion and somebody else is doing all right and they're doing something different than you, then it may, you know, benefit both of you guys to learn each other's methods and learn the way that each other are doing things and just get a different perspective, and then try to apply that to, you know, your situation and see what you could take from it, see what you want to get rid of. Regardless of where you put your feet, you're going to always want to be stable on bench. You're going to always want to control. Control is like absolutely key in all the lifts. But on bench press, we need to control our hips. We need to keep our butt down. And we need to make sure that we can get a bench press to pass in front of competition judges, right? So whatever stance is going to allow you to do that is what you should use. This is not, it is very common of human beings to try to pick one side or the other, or to, you know, sort of be tribal, or you know, whenever it comes to like doing it this way or that way. I don't think that's productive. I think, you know, reaching your true potential and becoming a real threat on the platform is like being a lifter that has considered, you know, multiple different ways to get to where you need to go, whether that's grip, foot placement, stance, you know, whatever. Like, there's a million different things that you need to consider. And to you know, early on in your career, you may be experimenting with different things, and then later on in your career, you're going to kind of narrow it down to what works best for you, and that's kind of like what we're doing here. So when you have your feet narrow and out in front of you, it's, you know, for some people it's really easy to kind of drive through either the balls of your feet or your heels. Sometimes people think midfoot, but it's kind of hard from that angle, and really kind of push back into the bar. The problem with this is because you're stretched out, and because like if you think of where your ankle joint is in relation to your knee, as you press into the floor, you're pushing away. this is going to allow for some sliding to happen if you don't have great shoes, or and if the ground isn't solid, right? Me personally, I like to put your legs out wide, your thighs. You try to. In the beginning, when I first started to do it, I used to feel tension on my groin, and I try to think with my mind as I'm benching, and just kind of make that mind muscle connection. Like, just try to think about your legs and think to push out and down as opposed to pushing away. A heel helps do this a little bit better. Also, you can help like kind of change the angle so you can tuck your feet back behind you a little bit better. But the reason why I like to do this is because if you are somebody that pushes away from where the weight is or your center of gravity through the motion, and you're in competition and you don't have a stable floor, or you have a carpet that's slippery, or or literally, like any IPF Worlds, they always use that Eleiko. It's like an Eleiko platform, and it's very smooth. I don't even know how to describe the material. It's like a hard-ish sponge that's very, very smooth. And if you push on that, you're gonna slide. Unless your shoes have like the best grip and they're like a little bit wet, you're gonna slide. And that is just something that over the years I said, you know what? I don't want to ever rely on the equipment that's in front of me. I want to put most of the control in my hands. Right? I want to bench with a technique that's going to allow me to go on any bench anywhere in the world and just complete a bench press to competition standard and never have any issues. Me personally, I've never missed a bench press in competition ever. If you go to my USAPL database and you look up my bench press, it's literally pure green. I have never ever missed a bench, ever. So I feel like I'm very qualified to speak on this subject. And that's really all it is. In life in general, I don't like putting control of my fate in others' hands. I like to be in control of everything. That being said, that is exactly why I choose to bench that way. Now, some people, if they have shorter legs, they may be able to get away with it. I would really say it just depends on the like theoretically, if your ankles are just under your knees and you're thinking to push down, and you have thick enough legs, maybe you can use your legs to kind of grab the side of the bench, as long as you're not touching the support on the bottom and the center, which you're not allowed to do. You might be able to get away with keeping your butt down on bench with your feet out in front of you. It does not matter. Like, I don't really think one is better than the other. And like it just depends. It just depends. I have some shorter lifters and some females that they can put their feet out in front of them a little bit, or maybe their toes are just in front of their knees, but their heels are behind their kneecap, right? If you're looking at them like from the side, if you draw a line straight down, their heels are actually behind their knee, so they can kind of drive their heels into the ground, and this won't really affect their thighs. It's not really gonna let them, their butt kind of come up. Sometimes, if their feet are too far away, you could see a little bit of movement in the hips, but the butt still stays down on the bench, and this is key. This is obviously, you have to do that in order to get your bench to pass in a competition, and that's really why me personally, I like to put my feet. And for bigger guys too, I think it's more beneficial to have your feet out and back behind you. It's a little bit more uncomfortable, but I literally try to think to make myself as tight on bench as possible, removing any chance of loss of power throughout the movement. And really, a lot of benching, the best that you can, is really just you have to like use your mind to tense and think to flex the rest of your body. Because if you think about your upper body, it's gonna be like supporting the weight, so there's gonna be some tension there. But as you begin to come down, and then when you push, if your lower body's loose, you're gonna fly all over the place. So you need to flex your lower body as hard as you can, stay as tight and cranked and as tight as you can without injuring your back, and providing as much stability, to your pec, shoulders, and triceps as you possibly can, and that's gonna come through a strong foundation. I also actually think that when people say leg drive, when you think of drive, it's like an action, right? You think mentally like of people's like feet kind of jolting into the ground, or their legs pushing away. Maybe there's some movement in the lower body. It can be a little bit confusing, because to have good stability, you don't want to have any movement. right? If you look at some of the best benchers in the world, there's zero movement, there's zero loss of power in their lower body as they're, as they're benching, and that's exactly what we want. So, stability is going to win at the end of the day. So whatever between the two that is going to allow you to do that is going to be key. Me personally, it's going to be pushing out and down with my feet as opposed to pushing away. If I push away, then I'm putting, I'm taking some of the power out of my hands, and I'm hoping that I don't get a carpet that's slippery or a bad bench or whatever. I would rather just take that out if I can, and just be in control of it. Again, everybody's different. There's very different setups. There's people that are tall. There's people that are short. If you're a super, super, super tall lifter, it might be kind of awkward for you to put your feet out wide. You might need to fold your legs under themselves. Like you want to take your shins and put them under your thighs, if that makes sense, because you're so tall. You may also want to try elevated heel, and you might want to keep your feet closer together. I would again try them both. And at the end of the day, it's all about controlling your destiny, staying as controlled as possible. And yeah, I hope I was able to enlighten you guys a little bit, or just kind of point something out that I think can be useful for bench. Maybe a tip that you can take into your next bench day. If I'm catching you a day before or just before you get to the gym and you're gonna go hit bench, please let me know. It always it motivates me tremendously to continue making these videos when you guys say things like, "Hey Joey, I use this tip in training," or something you said in a video really helped me. That is something that it's like the best feeling. So that being said, we're about a week away, 10 days away, 12 days away from IPF Worlds, and I think in about 2 weeks everybody will be completely done. And I just want to say, to all the Flex Boys International and, from US, I believe in you guys. You guys have been training for a really long time to earn this opportunity. And we went through hell to get here. And I'm very thankful to have been able to guide you on that journey. And I know you guys are going to come out on top. I'm going to do my best to be awake when you guys lift so I can at least watch. I know some countries, they're not cool with me having a direct line of communication while those lifters lift, so I'm just gonna leave it. But it's gonna be good, and yeah, I just want to say good luck. I'm proud of you, and go get it. So that being said, if you made it this far, let me get a hashtag stability wins. Hashtag control your destiny in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.